Today's yoga for strength today. So, building up some strength, focusing on being really, really strong.
I think you misspoke. It's Nature Day. It's Honorary Nature Day.
Building a lot of strength and then earning that resting pose at the end. Kind of getting so physically in tune that we get out of the way of our own heads. So, we're going to start on our backs. Lie down to your back. Land on your mat. Hopefully your mat's not as dirty as mine. Bring a little shuffle to the hips. Let the hips arrive on the ground. Maybe bring a little shuffle to the head. Let the neck soften. And then just start to land in the present moment. Letting go of all of the things outside of the mat. Giving yourself permission to switch off for 60 minutes. Time to have an internal experience. Close out the outside world for just a little while. Bring your hands to your torso, just underneath your rib cage. Feel the warmth of your hands in this space. And start to see if you can start to soften this space a little more. Particularly noticing right in underneath the rib cage. Notice if there's any gripping here and see if you can soften any muscular gripping and let your breath arrive more fully. And then I invite you to set an intention for class today. And maybe it's something as simple as, for today, I will remain present. Set a little intention. Something that you're going to come back to if you get distracted and your mind runs away. And then bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a little hug. I'm going to take the feet up towards the ceiling and start to take some movements in the feet, wiggling the toes, taking some ankle circles, pointing and flexing. Connect with your feet up above your heart. Allow your shoulders to land a little more into the ground. Then start to warm up the legs, pressing the ball of one foot into the ceiling and bending a knee, bicycling the legs, pressing and pulling, nice and slow. Start to bring some tension to the lower core. Press the legs. Legs are active, not just floating in space. Press. Find some muscles. And then start to take your bicycle towards the wall. Only going as far as your lower core is doing all the work, not your lower back. Press the hips into the ground. Press the rib cage into the ground. Notice compensation patterns on the neck and the chest, the face. Let go, soften. Bring your feet slowly back up towards the ceiling. Bring your feet both up to the ceiling. Hold the legs strong. Press the hips into the ground and take the legs slowly down towards the ground together. Hold where you feel very engaged in the core and not the lower back. Hover, hold. We're going to start to fire up the core. So holding the legs, pressing the hips into the ground. Take the feet a teeny bit over to the right and then a teeny bit over to the left. Trying to keep the hips glued to the ground. So really making this movement in the lower core. It's a small movement. And you can bend the knees to make the legs a little less heavy. Keep the challenge and try to keep your legs long. Take your feet all the way over to the right. Hold them here. Take your right hand. And you're going to lift, keeping the left hand on the floor, you're going to lift that right hand up towards the right knee and pulse it. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Take the tension out of the neck. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Yoga for strength. Come on, you can do it a little more. Pulse, pulse. Bring your legs back to center, right hand down. Bring the knees in, give yourself a little hug to reset. And then take the feet up to the ceiling. Take your feet slowly down towards the ground. Find that point where your whole stomach is engaged, not your lower back. Press the hips into the ground, rib cage into the ground. Hover. Right hand stays on the ground. Feet come a little to the left. Hold. And then left hand comes up and left shoulder lifts up the ground, pulse. Little squeeze. Make this in the core. Take the tension out of the neck. Take the work out of the neck. Squeeze. Squeeze. Pull your stomach more towards the spine. Squeeze. Bring it back down. Take a little side to side with the knees.
Starts long Shavasana.
Kaylee's officially done enough work. Take the feet back up to the ceiling. We're going to press the hips into the ground. Inhale as you lower the right leg slowly to the ground. Exhale as you bring it back up. Inhale as you lower the left. Exhale as you bring it back up. Again, mindful to keep this in the core. This is about generating heat in the lower core. Move with your breath.
This is just supposed to be heat?
Yes, heat, heat. Burn up. It's supposed to burn up energy in your lower core. It's supposed to get that digestive fire burning. It's supposed to activate.
It's supposed to prove that you're evil.
I keep complaining I'm going to add in more core.
Oh, God.
The
more core, the less time for Vipassana, so I'm fine with that.
Give yourself a little hug.
I'd rather you torture
Kaylee
myself.
voted for Vipassana today.
No. I will always vote against Vipassana.
Place the left foot down on the ground, knee up, and take just a little soft circle with the right knee. And place the right foot down and take a little soft circle with the left knee. And then bring the knees back in. Roll on over to a side and come on up to a seated position.
I think I could do a full strength class staying on the ground.
No, you can't. Come to a seat. And we're going to warm up the shoulders. So find your hips even on the ground. Start to get really tall in the spine. Land on the ground. Bring the neck down, bring the chin down to the chest. I'm going to be tongue-tied all day today. We've been working so hard at the tavern. Bring your head slow circle. Slow circle. Bring it all the way back, really checking in and feeling your points of tension in the neck. Slow circle. And bring it back to neutral. Bring the shoulders and roll them all the way forward and then press them down. Press with active arms. Roll them all the way up to the ears and then all the way back and press them down. Active arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades up together. Squeeze and then come up, 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 up. Hold. And then roll them forward and back. Nice and slow. And then bring the arms out even with the shoulders, and we're going to roll corkscrew. So roll the right hand, look towards the hand, and then roll the left, look towards the left. And we're really thinking about rolling the shoulders. We're just using a hand as a guide. So rolling, corkscrewing.
What have you been doing to my back? It's so sore. It's just like sore muscles. Like my muscles in my back are exhausted.
And then bring your arms down. Roll the shoulders. Nice, slow circles. And then bring it on over to a tabletop position. Set up in a tabletop. Start to take a little movement, and then we're going to inhale forward in tabletop. Exhale, sending the hips backwards. Try tucking the toes and feeling like you're pressing away forward. Inhale forward. Exhale, press from the hands, wave back to the toes. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then start to make it a little bigger, coming forward all the way to a little press-up position, and then all the way back, child's. Inhale forward, active, strong arms. Exhale back. Lower the arms down to the forearms and start to come forward with the forearms down and engaged. And exhale back. So feel like you're peeling the mat apart with your arms, pulling your hands away from each other. Active and strong arms and shoulders. And then bring it back to a tabletop. Turn the fingertips to point towards the knees. And just find the back of the wrist. Open up. Gentle. And then turn the fingertips, palms up. So palms up, fingertips point towards the knees. Open up the back of the wrists. And then bring it back to a tabletop position. Take your hands about mat width apart. Maybe point the fingertips out. Start to move left to right. So left to right. Little slow engaged movement in the shoulders. Take the tension out of the neck, out of the face. Soften the face. And then holding this, like you're really pulling the mat apart. There should be work on your arms and chest already. Tuck the toes, lift the knees to a hover. Hold. Take the tension out of the neck. Maybe tuck the pelvis a little more towards the belly button. Squeeze the core, engage. And then we're going to bring the knees together and knees wide. Little movements, nice and controlled. Strong arms, strong stomach, no buckling. Look for buckling. Buckling is when your body is telling you not strong enough for this movement yet.
Buckle.
And then send the hips up for a down dog with the arms wide. Take some movements in the legs. Feel your legs, warm up your legs. And then find a static down dog with your arms wide. Breathe. Connect to your breath. From here, we're going to put a little deeper bend in the knees than we normally have. Send the stomach towards the thighs. And then we're going to take bends in the arm wide, press up. Bringing the top of the head, crown of the head down to the ground and up. Slow and with control. Slower. Slower. Come on up. Bring the left hand to meet the right. Take a little press up. Teeny bend in the elbows. Take the left hand wide. Little down. Take the right hand to meet the left. Little down. So taking little movements. Really slow and with control. Finding different shapes in your shoulders to build strength. So that you're not only building strength in one angle, one direction. And then bring it down. Lower the knees and take a child's. Maybe flip the palms up to give some extra rest to the wrists. Find your breath. Slowly slide through all the way to crocodile. One hand on top of the other, forehead down, shimmy the hips, let go. Feel like you're pulling your lower stomach up towards your spine, maybe even a little tilt of the pelvis towards the belly button. Lift the feet to hover up off the ground. So now the glutes and the whole back legs are nice and strong and active. The head can stay down, or if you like, you can bring your hands out and lift the shoulders just a little. We're going to work the lower legs, lower back. So take the feet out, nice and wide and hover. And then we're going to squeeze in and squeeze out, nice and slow. Notice I said squeeze in and not throw out. So our legs, we're finding the muscles that make these movements. We're not just letting our body move. We're contracting and using the muscles. Find the muscles, squeeze the legs. Take the tension out of the neck. And then hold the legs wide and hover. Bring the arms down towards the hips. Lift the shoulders a little bit like you're flying. Squeeze the core a little. Squeeze the back. We're going to take the right hand a little bit over to the right and the left hand a little bit over to the left. Very slow and controlled movement. Legs strong. Use your back. You're building strength in your back. If you're not ready for this movement, bring your hands in under your shoulders and just take little soft circles with the shoulders, still hovering and holding the legs. Legs strong. And then lower down to crocodile and shimmy the hips. What can you let go of? Find your breath. Bring the hands in under the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Squeeze the pelvis up, and then as if you're being pulled by the tailbone, press all the way up nice and slow, maybe even straight to high plank. Find your breath, get really long in your high plank. And then bring your hands to center and take high plank in center with your hands touching. And then maybe make a triangle with your thumbs and index fingers. Come forward on the shoulders, bend the elbows, and maybe just hold here or take little tiny pulses. Find the backs of your upper arms. Squeeze the core. And then send the hips up and back with your arms in the shape to a down dog shape. And then switch your hands to wherever is your regular, comfortable down dog. Catch your breath. Catch your thoughts. Inhale, right leg high. We're going to bend the knee and bring it towards the elbow and then back. So inhale long, exhale, bring knee to elbow. Inhale long, exhaling. Not swinging the leg in space. Muscles, find your muscle. Inhale long, exhaling. Bring it up. This time, bring it out. So wide to the right and in. Wide to the right and in. And then bring it across to the left elbow and hold. Hold it here. And we're going to really flex the right foot and pulse this leg up and down. Squeeze. Use the core. And then step right foot behind right wrist. Find your low lunge, find some movement. So inhaling forward, exhaling, sending the front leg towards straight. Find some movement, warming up your legs. Slide the right foot over to the right of the mat. You're going to let the right foot really land on the ground and fire up the right outside of the right leg. Press into the ground with this leg. Step the left foot closer, a little bit closer. And we're going to inhale as we rise all the way up. So, turning the toes out, really strong right leg. Funky high lunge. Lift up. Bring the hands to prayer. So pressing in to this right leg nice and strong, we're going to take little tiny squats. Little tiny squats, nice and slow and with control. Squeeze the core. Notice how it's just a little bit different than if we were doing it with a high lunge position. Little bit different muscle group. It's really hot. And then find a regular high lunge. So bring that right foot back in. Reach up. Hands to prayer. Settle into a high lunge. Find your feet on the ground. Get strong in the legs. And come forward on that right leg. Bring the torso forward. Really strong in the right leg, strong in the left leg. We're going to bring our arms up. And just as we were doing in the down dog, And lean forward. Inhale long. Exhale in. Inhale long. Exhale in. Inhale long. Bring the left knee round and in. Bring it all the way forward and see if you can cross left ankle over right knee and sit it down. Whew. Need to find your balance point. Squeeze in the lower core. Lower the hips. Breathe. Active, strong left leg. Soft face, soft shoulders. Slowly bring the right knee up. We're going to take it all the way round and then all the way back. Nice and slow. All the way around. All the way back, nice and slow. And then step it down. Tap out the right foot. We're going to land in our mountain pose. Get strong in the legs. And we're going to connect to our breath. So we're going to inhale up nice and wide. Exhale, squeeze it down to a chair. Inhale up nice and wide. Exhale, sweep. Bring it down, prayer to the heart. Hold. Find your 2 feet on the ground, land in your mountain pose. Maybe even close your eyes and tune into all the little micro adjustments that happen when you stand on your own 2 feet. Ungrip the toes, soften the face, connect with your breath. Interlace all the fingers except the index and cross the thumbs. Take your arms up overhead. We're going to connect to our feet on the ground really solid. So feel like you're pulling your feet apart. Fire up those legs and hips. And we're going to take our arms over to the right. We're really reaching up long and then going right. Thinking about extending that left side without compromising the right. So get longer, longer, longer. Press into both feet. Lift up out of both arches of your feet. Breathe. Breathe into that left side body. And bend the knees, squeezing the legs still, holding open. Bring the knees back up, bring the body back to straight. Back to neutral. Engage and then over to the right side. The other side, left side. Opening the right. Breathe. Breathe into that right side body. Longer, longer, longer. And then bend the knees. Squeezing the legs a little more. Pull the mat apart with your feet. Rip the mat. Breathe. Bring it up to center, a little more core work. So bring it down to a baby chair with the legs. Squeeze the core. Pull your stomach really tight towards the spine. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring armpit to opposite knee. Inhale, center. Armpit to opposite knee. Squeeze. Find your breath. Squeeze all the way up. Exhale, release the hands down. Roll the arms back like you're floating, swimming backwards in a beautiful lake. Let the arms go. I think it's thunder lightning anyway. You can't swim right now. Let go. Soften. Loosen. Bring it back to center. Land on the right leg. Let the left leg come out. So you're going to take your right hand and do whatever you like to keep balanced. We're going to hover this left leg. Hold, balance, strong. And then you're going to lift and pulse the left heel without crunching in between the rib cage and the hip. So all in the leg. Squeeze the leg. And then we're going to bring the leg all the way forward and all the way back. You can float or you can tap. Find your breath. Don't hold your breath when we try to balance. Squeeze. Find the muscles in the leg. Find the muscles in the lower core. Find the muscles in the hip. And then land that left foot down. Land it on the ground and then feel like you're pulling it back towards you. Find the inner thigh. Maybe need to bend the leg a little more, bend the right knee a little more. And then land it, tap it out. Land on the left foot, right foot goes out. So find your balance point. Left hand can come out for counterbalance. You can keep it on your hip. Lift the right leg. Watching this gap between the rib cage and the hip. We're working from the left. Lift the heel. Try not to squeeze and compromise and compensate with all the muscles in the upper torso. Working the leg and the hip. And then bring it forward and back. Nice and slow. And then land the right leg. Push onto the ground and then feel like you're pulling the right leg back towards you. And you might need to bend a little deeper into the left knee to find the inner thigh. Pull. Bring it back to center. Tap out the feet. Land in your mountain. Back to the right leg. Bring the left leg forward and then bring it onto the shin. So tap the foot onto the shin and then press. Press the foot into the shin, shin into the foot. So have that nice counter pressure. Press. Bring the hips down a little lower. Squeeze the core a little tighter. And then open up the knee. Bring the arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers, index fingers up. Try not to push the hips out. Keep them nice and even. Try not to compensate here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then we're going to challenge our balance here. Make that rainbow shape. Take the fingers all the way over to the right. And then all the way over to the left. Back to center and let it go. Tap it out. Take the toes of the right foot, tuck them under, pull forward, open up the front of the foot. Press the ball of the right foot down and take a nice slow circle with the ankle. And the other way. And then press into the ground, pull up from the ground. See if you can find the muscles in the arch of the foot. Let it go. Land on the left leg, hips even. Don't throw out that hip. Bring it back in. Squeeze the lower core. Bring the right leg forward and
place it on the left shin. Counter pressure, press foot into shin, shin into foot. And then open up the knee to the side. Bring your hands up overhead. Interlace all the way over to the left. And all the way over to the right. Bring it back to center. Hands down to prayer. Let it go. Tap it up. Left toes tuck under. Pull them forward. Ball of the left foot down and take little soft ankle circles. Reverse the circles. And then press into the ball of the foot and see if you can pull up and find the muscles in the arch. Bring that down. Inhale all the way up. This time swan dive it down. Touch the ground. Right foot back. Left foot back. High plank. Breathe and hold. We're going to bring the hips up and back down, dog. Lift the right leg. Bend the knee. Bring it to the chest. Land it through past the left hand. Fallen triangle. So you're going to land the left foot. Lift the left arm up. Squeeze. So think about that nice open shape we just did. Squeeze the hips up more to the ceiling. Take the tension out of the face and the neck. Land the left hand. Lift right knee. Send foot back. Down dog. No break. We have to do the other side. So inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bring it into elbow. Inhale high. Exhale in. Start to bring it out wide. Inhale high. Exhale round to the side. Inhale high. Exhale round. Nice and slow and with control. Use the muscles, not momentum. Bring it across the body. Hold. Little pulses of the knee and the heel up to the ceiling. Squeeze. Step the left foot behind the left wrist. Inhale forward. Exhale leg towards straight. Find some movement. Land the left foot forward and bring it out towards the left. Turn the toes out. Really, really strong in this left leg. Fire it up. Press into the ground. Press into the ground and lift up with the muscles. The sense of opposites. Bring the back foot in a little. Inhale as we rise up. Funky high lunge. So landing in this funky high lunge. Squeeze. Squeeze the lower core. Arms can be up, they can be a prayer, they can be out. Take little pulses. I'm not balanced today. Turn your toes out a little more. There you go. Squeeze, nice, slow pulses. Bring it back to a regular high lunge. Adjust, and then find your high lunge and find your breath. Bring the upper body forward over this left leg. Squeeze the torso. We're going to inhale, lift long. Exhale, squeeze and bring the knee in. Inhale long. Exhale in. Start to bring that knee out wide, just as we did in down dog. And then bring it all the way forward. Nice and slow. Switch so that right ankle is over left knee. Squeeze it down, sit. Hold and balance. Active right leg. Pull that knee down towards the ground. Slowly bring the hips up. Take the leg all the way around and back. And all the way forward. Round and back. All the way forward. Round and back. One more time. Land it and tap it out. Take arms left and right and really swing and let go. Loosen, soften, find your breath. You did it. All of the hard work is already done. How fast that went. So land your feet a little bit wide. Let's connect with our breath. Inhaling up. Exhale in. Inhale up. Exhale in. Scoop in some fresh. Release out things no longer needed. Slide the left foot a little bit back. Find the place where you can land this left foot where you're comfortable and your hips are still facing forward. You're going to pull the right hip back and lean the torso forward. Find where you can activate the back of the right leg. So either pressing the foot away from you, feeling like you're pushing, or feeling like you're pulling. See if you can pull and get a little more movement in this leg. Find the place where your leg feels like it's talking to you but not screaming. Get really long in the spine. Take the tension out of the face and the neck. Maybe bend the back leg a little and come down a little further with the right hip.
Can we do this on this side?
No. Okay, we're doing it on this side. You're going to come forward with the upper body if you're working to standing splits. So skip this if you don't want to. Bending into the front leg, you're going to find the ground nice and slow. And maybe pop up this back leg. If you're feeling super brave, maybe bring your head down. And taking the tension out of your upper body and neck. Slowly lower the left leg down towards the hip. Inhale, raise all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer, heart space. Slide the right foot back. We're going to come forward, finding the left leg. So, pull legs active first. So either pulling that heel towards you, left heel towards right, or pushing them away. See which one feels better for you. Lean the torso forward. Don't grip with the toes. Soften the shoulders. Soften the face. Look for compensation patterns in the back. Try to get long in the spine, active and strong in the legs. Maybe bend that back knee a little. You can even experiment with lifting the toes. And then if you're going to try for standing splits, you're going to come forward on this front leg. Slowly lower down and lift right. Take the tension out of the neck. Slowly place right leg down, and you're going to sink the hips down, all the way down to the ground. Find your seat. And then lower down to the ground, all the way down. So find your back. So you can hear me. Land on the ground. So all of the hard work is done. Sorry, I need to adjust the clock so I can see it.
I was gonna say,
Give yourself a little hug. Find your breath. What can you let go of? And really checking in what feels different from the start of practice. Take your feet up to the ceiling. Let your shoulders land in the ground. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your feet. This is where we started. How does it feel? What feels different? Notice. Check in. Get your feet up. Let the blood rush down to your heart. Bring the knees in. Take right knee over left. Bring feet to opposite shoulders. If you're looking for piriformis, right side. Underneath the glutes. Play with the angle of the feet. See how you can find the stretch that works for you. And slowly lower left foot to the ground. Arms come to the ground, shoulders stay on the ground, and then right foot comes all the way over to the left side. Knees and feet to left. Let the right foot land, and then feel a little movement here so that you can start to feel opening on the right rib cage. Allowing the shoulder to land on the ground, stay on the ground. Take the tension out of the neck. So don't turn and twist and put any pressure into the neck here. We're opening on right side rib cage. Allow your right shoulder to drop and land a little more onto the ground. Maybe take all the tension out of the legs and the hips. Slowly bring the knees back to center. Unwind. Take left knee over right. Bring the knees in and feet to opposite shoulders. Breathe. Let go. Slowly bring the right foot to the ground. Bring the arms and shoulders to the ground and let the knees come over to the right. Let the left foot land on the ground. Once the left foot lands, take wiggles and adjustments so that you can find the place where there are no tweaks in the lower back or hips and your shoulders are completely relaxed and landed on the ground. Breathe into the opening across the left rib cage. Maybe lift the left elbow a little higher. Up towards the ear, maybe a little more. Take the tension out of the hips and the legs. Allow the feet to just kind of land. Let go of the jaw. Can you let the jaw just kind of soften and land where it is? And bring the knees back to center.
Bring the knees in towards the chest and take the feet to the ceiling. Happy baby. So you can grab shins, you can reach for outer edges of the feet. You can rock this, you can bend and straighten the legs. Take a little play, have a little bit of an internal experience. Where is your body at right now? You're not the boss of your body. You are the boss. How does your body feel right now? Maybe your body feels like you're done doing anything and you're just going to make your way all the way to your resting pose. So take your feet long, all the way long. Reach the arms up overhead. Stretch from the fingertips to the toes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything tight. Reach long. Take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, suddenly let everything flop to the ground. See how that feels. Wiggle the right foot over to the very right edge of the mat. Wiggle the left foot over to the left edge. I'm all twisted. Take the hands down towards the hips, but not close to the hips. So wide. Take your hands down. Make fists with your hands. And we're going to squeeze again. So squeeze. This is an angry position. When they do studies of people, this is the most common. Fists down towards our hips, squeezing, angry. So squeeze the body tight in this position and feel how it feels. Squeeze the feet, the legs, the stomach, the face, the arms, the chest. More of the stomach. Squeeze the neck. Squeeze the front of the neck. Squeeze, 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 squeeze so tight. Squeeze tighter. Take a deep breath, and with the exhale, suddenly release. Wiggle the toes. See if you soften the toes. See if you soften the feet. Wiggle the fingers. See if you can take a little more tension out of the fingers. Take the chin slowly side to side. Can you take a little more tension out of the neck? Are you pushing the back of your neck down towards the ground? Lift your chin up. Let your neck have a curve. Take a little side to side shuffle with the shoulders. Wiggle them, loosen them, soften them. Maybe try to get your torso to wobble like jelly in a bowl. Wiggle and soften, left to right. And then take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, suddenly become still. And here it is, your resting pose. You earned it. Take some time to soften in. Noticing what it feels like to work the muscles and then release the muscles. Noticing what it feels like to be clenched and tight and tired, and then soft and loose. Let go of control. Loosen control of even the breath. Can you soften around your eyes? Soften the roof of your mouth around your tongue. Can you imagine softening the gums in your mouth? The muscles up into the jaw, and then down the neck. Can you imagine softening space inside the ears? Maybe imagining a little more space, a little more softness for your hearing. And
land in that center point of the mind. Land here as if you're greeting a dear friend. Check in. Notice how you are doing. Notice how you are emotionally, physically, mentally. And then just sink back and rest. Notice that you can notice your thoughts. And then perhaps notice a little space in between the thoughts. Take a little moment to really check in and see if you need a little more time in this position, a little more time for your body to rest. If you have somewhere you need to go, we're coming up on 60 minutes. So begin to land back in the room, back on the mat. Feeling the parts of your body that are touching support. And then slowly bringing a knee in at a time, squeeze up into a tiny little ball and roll over to whichever side is calling to, curling up in the fetal position. And connecting to this pose, the beginning pose. Reminding us of a time in the womb when all of our needs were met. We had not judged ourselves as negative or positive. We were simply a spark of life. Come to this pose often to remind yourself that this spark of life exists within us, unchanged by our experiences and all the judgments that we place upon ourselves. I invite you to take a moment looking for any of those harsh words we use towards ourselves and perhaps leaving one of those narratives on the mat today. And taking your time, rise on up to a seated position with your hands of prayer at heart space. And connect with this gesture of accepting yourself as whole and complete, exactly as you are. Bringing your left and right sides to meet in front of our heart. Whole and complete. You are not broken. You are worthy of love. you spend the rest of your day believing and knowing this true. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.